I am David McCoy, District Governor-elect from District 6040. My home club is the Downtown Kansas City, Missouri Club. We call ourselves Club 13 because we were the 13th club that was started in Rotary. Welcome to this session called Expand Our Reach. This session has to do with cultivating partnerships with other organizations, telling our Rotary stories, and creating diversity in our membership. I will now turn the meeting over to our great facilitators, Janice Wilson, David Robinette, and Eric McGuire.
Hello, I'm Dave Robinette, Rotary Club of Overland in District 6060. And Rotary is truly encouraging clubs to partner with other organizations in our communities and internationally to do larger projects, to expand the reach that we can have in our communities and around the world. What I'd like you to do for a moment is think about the community group you either work with or you would like to see your club partner with to do a community project. Please put that in the chat and I will share some of the results. United Way, Kim, Boy Scouts, Food Bank from Sheila, Brian is the Parks Department. Another one from United Way, Colleges and University, Rosalind, Rance Thomas, Rance Schools, Local Food Pantries, Jim said the Optimist Club, David Adams, Habitat for Humanity, Andy Straub, Parks and Recreations, Courtney, Businesswomen of Missouri, Chris Koch, to include other Rotary clubs. Gallagher said the Lions Club. David Fritz said the two other Rotary clubs of Lee Summit to partner together. R.W. Sanders, the Salvation Army. I'm going to scroll up here a minute and see, get some new ones. Senior Center from Brian. Wendy, Bethel Hill Community Center. St. Jude's from Nancy. Food Bank again from Sheila. Glenn Scott said the Local Nutrition Center. Ronald McDonald House, Chris Jones. There are a lot of groups, a lot of organizations that I see you all wanting to partner with or have partnered with. And that is a tremendous thing. We can expand our reach by working with others. We can get more things done. Now, what I'd like you to do at this point is to think about this for a moment. And I'd like you to give a couple of ways that you can share a project that you have already done in your community. Not something you want to do, but something you've already done in your community with a different community group to expand the reach. I'd like you to use either the participant or the reaction function, and I'll call on you to unmute yourself and share. I'd like to keep it to 2 or 3 sentences so that we can have more of you share. So Tracy, if you would please unmute yourself and give me or give us your project.
We are currently partnering with our local school on a project that for a sound system in a new multi-purpose facility. And we're also partnering with the parents and teachers organization as part of that project. So it really involves 3 community entities working together to get the project done.
Thank you. Brad Martins, if you would share, please.
Partnered with the City of Columbia, Parks and Recreation, and other Rotary clubs here locally to build a playground at the farmers market.
Ryan, if you would share.
Yeah,
we worked with, oh, sorry. I thought you said Brian.
Ryan.
Yeah, we partnered with the Richmond Parks and Rec and Kiwanis Club to put in a bathroom facility at a new local park.
And since you already started, Brian, would you share? Brian Carter?
We partnered with the Chamber of Commerce. We have the annual Easter egg hunt in the park, and there's a nearby creek or a little stream. So we did a cleanup there just to help make the area look a little bit better prior to the event. And I wanted to also mention, everybody, I'm not trying to be rude and not have my video on. We're having some horrible internet streaming issues today. And it seems like if I have video on also, then I start getting the little segmented, can't hear anybody or talk. So
Not to worry on that, Brian. Trust me. We've all had that at one time, I'm sure. Lindsay, if you would share, please.
Yeah, hi. My Rotary Club has installed 8-foot-long benches with Rotary emblazoned on the back, and they're in Rotary blue. We teamed with the Parks Department, and we put them at the new pickleball courts opened by the Parks Department, and also at one of the parks locations along the trail, so people could have a place to take a break and take in the scenery.
Sheila, if you would share, please.
Yeah, we partnered with the local homeless shelter, and we have put heat and air conditioners systems to small facilities where they can into their small I don't want to call them bedrooms, but they just have little living areas, and we put new heat and air systems in there for them.
And I do not want to offend. I'm hoping I'm going to pronounce this right. Zatuya?
It's a Twila. Not a problem. Everyone calls me Z, so feel free. So we partnered with CASA in the past to have a birthday bag. So we assembled cake mixes and then frosting, and then would put a gift for the individual, for the kids.
Thank you. Chris, would you share? Chris Cock?
It's actually pronounced Coke, but that's okay.
Coke? I'm sorry, ma'am.
We in the past we have partnered with the other two clubs to work on what's called Flats, which is a forest lake area trail system, and we're working on a trailhead with a park for the kids, a nature park kind of thing, not with playground equipment or anything, but more natural things. And so that's been an ongoing project that we've been doing.
Thank you. Wayne, I know you had your hand up. Wayne Wilcox, do you still wish to share? Or if you would unmute yourself if you do, please, sir.
Yes, our club has done worked with the local parks department in improving, it's a small community, improving the playgrounds. We've also partnered with the Historical Society. And I think our most unusual project has been, since I've been there, is we worked with the air ambulance and the county commission to establish a concrete lighted pad for the air ambulance folks to come into the community if needed.
Thank you. Laurie Hayes, I don't know if I got yours yet or not. If you would, please.
Good morning. We do a combined project. We call it Reading with Rotary, where we partner with our area school. Our club reads a book by the Josh Collingsworth Foundation, which partners with Rotary, which is on floating in water. And we also bring in the State Park Marina brings in boats. So we read this book to kindergartners and first graders and give them a copy of the book, as well as talk about water safety because of the amount of lakes in our area.
Thank you. Nancy Evans, did I get you?
Yes, we have a local radio auction on a yearly basis that provides college scholarships to the local children or students in 5 area schools.
Thank you. And one more here, Matt.
Yes, we partnered with Triple Ribbon Project and the Ellis Michelle Cancer Center. We make mastectomy drain bag holders for mastectomy patients who it holds their drain bag so they don't have that pulling and all that going on. We make them and then we give them to the cancer center there, and also the Triple Ribbon Project is a special very difficult to cure breast cancer. So
Thank you, sir. As we've all noticed, these are some very wonderful ideas. These are some great ideas on how you can partner with community groups to do various service projects. Storytelling is another way to expand our reach. We will now talk about telling our Rotary story. Eric McGuire will lead this portion. Eric?
Thank you, David. Let's start with a poll. What media are you most comfortable in telling your Rotary story? Please check all that apply to you. The local newspaper, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube. It looks like nearly everybody was comfortable with Facebook. A majority of you were comfortable with the local newspaper. And we had some responses from everybody on Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube, the least on Snapchat. As you see, there are many ways to get our Rotary story to the public because everyone likes a good story. We need to tell our Rotary stories more to the public, to friends, to colleagues. When we do, we are actually creating awareness of our impact and of our Rotary brand. You're going to practice telling your Rotary story. You will be sent to the breakout room for 16 minutes. During that time, you will be able to share your Rotary story. You might think you don't have one, but you do. You joined Rotary for a reason and you probably stayed for even a different reason. Or you might have had a light bulb moment when you knew that you had a real passion for service. That could be your Rotary story. Each of you take about 3 to 4 minutes to tell your Rotary story to the others in your group. If someone is having difficulty thinking of a Rotary story to tell, please help that person find a story within his or her journey in Rotary. Be supportive and helpful. If you have time left after everyone has shared your Rotary story, then share a story about some of the activities of your club, such as projects, socials, fundraising, that have expanded your reach in your community. Are there any questions? Please send the participants to the breakout room to tell their Rotary story.
Okay, for you out there in the land of live streaming, we put this breakout in to tell their Rotary story for 2 purposes. First, we wanted to stimulate their thinking about either how they got into Rotary or the moment that they really became a Rotarian and not just a member of Rotary. So let me go back over that. Telling their Rotary story serves 2 purposes. One, to stimulate their thinking about either how they got into Rotary or about the moment that they became a real Rotarian instead of just a member of Rotary. And then the second reason is how telling their Rotary story, once they've found it, because some people don't know that they have a Rotary story, but they do, as Eric said, it will help them attract new members and therefore expand our reach. Those are the 2 things that we wanted in that breakout room. So right now, those of you in the main room here, it's time for you to tell your Rotary stories. So who would like to go first to tell your Rotary story? Joan.
Okay. I will just briefly say that when I joined Rotary, I was in a very, very small club at first. I had no idea what I had gotten myself into, and I became a president, I mean, just so quickly. But I truly, truly became a Rotarian when I attended the first district conference, because there I saw the big picture. And I started seeing the exhibitors and what they were doing and the projects that were going on around the world. And it was just immediate. I knew I had found my home.
Thanks, Joan. Sue.
Back in 2007, I was a GSE team leader to India. And of all of our many, many experiences during that month, the one that always comes to the top of my mind is the late evening handoff that I was able to make of a water buffalo to a young widow who had 3 little children with her. And the Rotary Club that was providing that water buffalo to her, she was going to be walking through the night to get back to her little farm. She was a recent widow, and she would be using the water buffalo for milk and for working in her fields and trying to continue to make a living for herself and her young family. I know it's a unique story. Nobody else here could match getting to present a water buffalo in India.
Thank you, Sue. David?
You're right. I can't match that. But I joined the first time because I joined Rotary twice. I joined the first time because somebody told me to. It was a condition. I worked for my father's business. He was a member of Rotary. I had to join. Okay. I picked a club that would work with these type of service that I was doing, and made a big mistake in that respect of I joined a club that all they wanted was cash. We were expecting our second child and we didn't have any money. And 2 years later, I dropped out. Fast forward a few years, we were at a presentation, some sort of award ceremony with our son, and a good friend of our son was there. His parents were there. They were all getting awards. And Jim turns around to me and says, "What are you doing Wednesday morning?" I said, "Well, I've got, whatever it was, work I had to do." And he said, "Well, can you start a little later and come to Overland Rotary? We meet at 7, we're done by 8. Well, okay, I'll give it a try. I already been once. I knew it wasn't for me, but I'll go again. That was in late 1999, and I haven't looked back since. Sometimes it's not joining, but it's finding the right fit for you and somebody just asking that makes all the difference in the world.
Thanks, David. Julie?
Well, Sue's story reminded me of one of my own. And I was at a district conference and there was a gentleman standing by a booth, and I just stepped up to talk to him and he said, "Hey, do you know any good dentists?" And I said, "Well, I'm related to 6. So of course he thought he had the jackpot, and he immediately signs me up to go to Jamaica with a medical dental mission team. A medical person at all. I can't be around the blood and guts or any of it. So I did the registration. And so my job was kind of to line people up. And one day I had a little boy on my lap and his stomach was grumbling. And I said to him, "Are you hungry?" And he said, "Yes, miss." And I said, "Well, when's the last time you ate?" And he said, "Day before yesterday, miss." And so I was like, "You haven't eaten for 2 days?" And he said, "No, miss." So the conference center we stay at fixes lunch for us. And it's these horrible sandwiches with a lot of mustard and mayonnaise on them that by the time you eat them are really soggy. And so I said to this little boy, I said, "Go ask your mom if I can meet you around back and I'll give you something to eat." Because in Jamaica, you don't want to open your lunchbox in the registration room or you'll just be mobbed. So he comes back and he says, "She said it's fine if my sister can come too." And so I stuck my head in my husband's room. He is a dentist, and said, "Hey, are you going to eat your lunch?" And he said, "I'm guessing you're going to give it away." And I said, "Absolutely." So I met these 2 children behind this building, and they ate these horrible sandwiches like that was the best meal they'd ever eaten. And so I kind of realized, what true hunger really is to some people. And so I've continued to go back to Jamaica. This is the first year I haven't been in about 7 or 8 years. And so I'm really missing it in those people, because you really feel like the impact that we make there with our medical dental mission is really appreciated.
Thank you. Who else would like to tell their Rotary story? Jackie, I know you have one about GSE, so why don't you tell your Rotary story?
Thank you. Yes, just like Sue, I was asked to be a part of a group study exchange team to the Philippines. And it was, like 25 years ago now, and it changed my life. I really was able to see what Rotary was doing in terms of service. In every town and village, there was a Rotary sign of some kind of a project. But one of the highlights was going to an off-road village and being able to administer the polio vaccine, and realizing that this gentleman had brought his daughter, literally walked 7 miles to bring her to this clinic, this real rural clinic. So that changed my life, and I knew that I wanted to make a difference in Rotary and through service by joining. Thank you.
And you started the Pulaski County Club, didn't you?
Yes, that's how I joined Rotary. We didn't have one there, and it took a while just to kind of acclimate the community to want to be a part, because they always said, oh, I'm involved in all these things. But we ended up chartering a club with 25 members, and we're still going strong. We're looking at starting a satellite club for veterans causes. So yeah, it's like, if you don't have a club, in your community, start one, and I'll help you do it. I'm district governor for 6080. So please give me a call or find me on Facebook.
Okay, so David or Margie or Janice, would any of you like to share your Rotary stories?
So I actually got involved with the Rotary project at our club's youth camp for about 3 years before I actually joined Rotary. The Kansas City Club has a large youth camp just outside of Lee Summit, Missouri, that is getting ready to celebrate its 100th anniversary. We provide the camp free for no charge to 9 different organizations that bring their youth out for a week-long camping experience. And because we do not charge them for the use of the facility, they in turn are able to provide it at no cost to their youth that come out and attend. One of the groups that I started out there with was a scouting troop that specializes in special needs scouts, and they do a traditional run it like a week long at camp for special needs scouts, just like they do all the same merit badges that you would find at a regular scout camp. And so I worked on staff there a couple of years doing that before I got involved in the club. Club 13 is a large club. We have over 200 members, so it can be quite a challenge to get into a leadership role, because unlike the smaller clubs, a lot of times we're not faced with the challenge of looking for people to serve in a leadership role. So I was actually in the club for about 14 years before I got into the president lineup.
Thank you, David. Margie or Janice, do you have your stories? Would you like to share?
Hi, I guess I can share. Wow, so my first time in Rotary, I guess, when I got there, I was invited by Marianne, but you guys don't know her. But anyways, I was invited. She's very outgoing, like me, personality. But I came into the club and I looked around. And as I looked around, I seen so many community leaders from other organizations that I was a part of, or either had seen doing things in the community. So I quickly just started asking, what can I do? How can I help? And then 2 years later, I'm sorry, 2 years later, I was asked to be the president of the club. And I thought that was an awesome opportunity to do. At first, I was a little nervous about it, but my military background kind of kicked in and was like, well, you can do this. And then you're not by yourself. So that's what I really loved about it, the giving personality. But I think I really became a Rotarian when I got an opportunity to go to the youth, not the youth camp. Jackie, I might be mispronouncing it. The one that you guys invited me to, and with the young people.
Oh, Wonderland Camp.
Wonderland Camp.
Yes, I didn't want to mess up the name. I couldn't remember it, but that's when I think I really became a Rotarian. We got an opportunity to go out to Wonderland Camp and see the young people, see the impact that Rotary made, the van that was donated from one of the clubs, and just get an opportunity to tour it and see the impact that we made and the smiles on those young people's faces. I think that was the day that I really became a Rotarian. So That's my story.
Thanks, Janice. Margie, do you want to share yours?
Sure. I've been in the medical field for a number of years. And so, people come up to you and say, oh gosh, you helped me do this, you helped me do that, or, you helped save my husband, or, and so you kind of think about it, but you really don't like accept it because, this is the career I chose, this is the life I wanted to do, and this is the decision I made. So I don't look at it that way. But, I was at my own club's anniversary party some years ago, and we were celebrating like the 40th, I believe it was the 40th or 50th anniversary party. We were on this steamboat in Kimswick, and one of the Rotarians there, our oldest Rotarian, gets an award, and it's a fabulous evening. Everything's going fantastic, and rarely in those days did I wear, as I call it, women's dress clothes. And that particular night I did because I was helping present the award. So I'm leaving the boat, and all of a sudden someone yells and says one of our Rotarians had collapsed. And so, of course, everyone knew I was, the chief of the ambulance district there. So I have my staff car there that night and go over to him. He's in the parking lot. He had collapsed. And so everybody's helping me, standing around me, helping me while I'm trying to do CPR. So my big Rotary moment was, you look up and you see all your Rotarian friends standing there helping you. Even fortunately, the gentleman didn't make it, but I mean, his wife has stayed in touch, has loved me ever since. So it was just a nice fellowship and support that they were there standing around me, watching things as it wasn't going the right direction. But anyway, that's kind of how it all started. So, but I'd been in Rotary some time when that happened already, but it's been great ever since.
Thank you, Margie. I'll just quickly do mine because we have just under one minute. I had a son who died, and a couple of years after that, I was feeling kind of down, depressed, and I was riding on the Katy Trail with my friend Steve, and I said, Steve, I just got to get out of feeling like I'm feeling, and I know, being a psychologist, that the best way to do that is to volunteer. So I'd like to join a volunteer organization. And he goes, well, come to my Rotary Club meeting with me on Friday. And so I did. Back to you, Janice. Or Eric, sorry.
I bet there were some fabulous Rotary stories shared. Right now, I want you to think of 3 people with whom you might want to share your Rotary story. You, as the leader of your club, need to set the example for attracting new members. So this is one way to encourage you to bring in new members by sharing your Rotary story. Write down the names of 3 people that you will share the story you told in your breakout with. Now, Janice Wilson will talk about expanding our reach through diversity.
Hi, my name is Janice Wilson, and I am representing District 6080. To expand our reach, our clubs can choose to be more diversified. Rotary has a diversity, equity, and inclusion statement. A handout was sent to you, so you might want to refer to it as I read to you. As a global network that strives to build a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change, Rotary values diversity and celebrates the contributions of people of all backgrounds, regardless of their age, ethnicity, race, color, abilities, and religion, socioeconomic status, culture, sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity. Rotary will cultivate a diverse, equitable, and inclusion culture in which people from underrepresented groups have greater opportunities to participate as members and leaders. One of our young leaders suggested that in order to be more diverse, we could invite someone to our club who is not like us. In other words, we should reach out beyond our circle and look for people who are different than us in a variety of ways. In the chat box, please put a yes or no if you believe that would work for your club. So I'm seeing a lot of yes, 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 and that's outstanding. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, definitely yes, 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 awesome. Yes, absolutely, yes, yes, yes. That's good. Thank you for your feedback. Sometimes creating diversity can be simple as using the Rotary resources to assess your club, to learn how to be more diverse, open, and attractive to everyone in your community, or creating a task force.
to look into being more flexible and more diverse. So let's do a poll. Concerning creating a more flexible club to attract diverse membership. So you can use multiple choices. I will give one of the Rotary surveys to my members. I will create a task force to work on what my club needs to do or be more flexible and diverse. I will put this idea on my board agenda. I will ask my members to reach out beyond their circle to invite prospective members. Choose all that apply.
Results are still coming in.
Awesome.
A few more seconds here. All right, everybody, I'm shutting this down in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so look like the majority was I will ask my members to reach out beyond their circle to invite prospective members. And then we have 33%, well, I will give Rotary surveys to my members. We have 60% that I will put this idea on my board agenda. And lastly, 20%, I will create a task force to work on what my club needs to do to be more flexible and more diverse. So we have a plethora of things that we could do to help. So let's do an activity. You will be sent to the breakout rooms for 12 minutes. And during this time, you will work on the following scenario to expand your reach with a new club model. Here's the scenario. You should be sent to a handout. You should have been sent a handout so that you may want to take a look at it as I go along. Our tech host will put the document in the chat if you want to download it. So your club meets at a lunchtime and most members are retired. You have a few younger members, but it's often difficult for younger members to take a long lunch break. So your club wasn't seen as a good fit for young working people, and that hindered your goal to attract new members. You decided to start a satellite club that is less formal than your lunchtime club. Your task is to create an idea to how the satellite will look and how you will get started. Will it be an afternoon club or family club or whatever you think would be attractive for younger members? Then develop 3 sentences ad to put in social media to attract your young members to a new satellite club. Please choose a reporter to share please choose a reporter to share, and then please send the presidents-elects to the breakout rooms. Before you do that though, are there any questions on what I just read? Were you able to find your document? I'm scanning. Okay, awesome. Could you please send the presidents-elect to the breakout room? Thank you. Okay, well, let me explain what this was all about. So to expand our reach, we wanted to, is there a dog barking somewhere? Okay, so to expand our reach, we wanted to talk about new club models, and the one we chose was a satellite club. And this had 2 purposes. First, to increase their knowledge about, of course, expanding their reach by creating a satellite club, and to show how then promoting their satellite in the media can increase Rotary's public image, therefore expanding our reach. And also by creating some kind of diversity in their club by trying to find members that really don't fit for the traditional club model. So there were several reasons for us to have them do that. Is there anyone on the facilitators panel here that would like to talk about a satellite club that you know about or that you have created in your area or your district? Go ahead and raise your hand. I know there's several satellite clubs going on right now being created, so let's share with the world out there of live streaming.
I can tell you about the one in 6040 that I believe was just approved on Thursday or Friday. They are starting one out of kind of the Fort Leavenworth area. It's a veterans-based, cause-based club. You do not have to be a veteran to join it. You just have to be someone that is interested in veterans' rights and veterans' treatment. And they're going to work on a couple of projects. I know one of the ones I talked about was the tiny homes project. And there's also another care facility close to the VA hospital here in town. And it is a satellite club that's based out of the Kansas City Plaza Club. And I believe they started with 10 members. So.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Jackie?
Thank you. We've got a couple in the works. I mentioned a little earlier about the veteran space, just like David McCoy mentioned, but looking at there being a veterans cause base, because I live in the Fort Leonard at Wood area. But there's also one in the works in the Springfield area for, excuse me, it's called Lifestyles Club. And so it's individuals who want to have a little bit more social and fellowship time, a little bit more social activities along with the service, and they'll be meeting in the early evening. So that's an exciting one too.
Okay, any others? Anything going on in the St. Louis area or 6060 anywhere?
I can tell you that my colleague Linda Poobauer, who's a past district governor, has just started a club. And Margie, maybe you could speak to that. I think it's all based on service. And so they meet once a month via Zoom and they talk about it and they plan service projects. So there's no meal, their dues are very low. And I believe they just did their first service project today. So Margie, I don't know if you can expand on that.
Yeah, it's basically, like you said, a service project based club. I think there's 24 members that are in the club so far. And so she was just talking about it the other night. They have it registered and it is active. I didn't realize her first project was actually today, but it is all about service projects. She was talking about the different ones that they'll be trying to do, contacting their local Parks Department and various other areas, Meals on Wheels, the Brennan's Backpack, those kinds of things, and trying to just basically do service projects is what they're doing within their community.
Okay, thank you. Sue?
I would just add about that Southeast Missouri Service Cause-Based Club. They already have 9 service projects lined up for this spring and summer. And my club, regular club, doesn't do 9 in 2 years. So they really have jumped right on it and have a wide variety of things going to be involved in. Another one in our part of the state is the cause-based club associated with working on the Mississippi River. I think there are several states involved, and they do trash pickup, they promote the river, they help protect it, protect the environmental aspect of the river. And our Hannibal Club in particular, I think, is involved in that cause-based club called Mississippi Runs Through Us. And it's kind of a play on words there. Us is US, capitalized, because the Mississippi runs through the entire part of our country.
Thank you, Sue. Joan?
Okay, well, I wanted to talk a little bit. I am district governor-elect from 6080, and I did have an idea. This isn't implemented yet, but since our new area of focus is in the environment area, I am very interested as a DGE to encourage more satellite clubs in our district dealing with the environment, and Sue kind of playing off of Sue's idea too as well, what she was talking about. I just think it's so important. Everywhere I go, I can tell that our environment needs help. And if it's trash pickup, but I also thought that it would be great to get a group of people that are very concerned about the environment, but also want to have fun in the environment. So could be kayaking, hiking, just that type of thing. And while they're doing that, maybe focus on picking up trash while they're doing that, or planting trees, things like that. So that's kind of what my idea is.
Okay, thanks for sharing that good idea. Julie.
I know a couple of my past district governor friends have started satellite clubs in cause-based areas too. There's one group that meets at a library after school, and a bunch of retired teachers come, and they all focus on literacy, even not just retired teachers, all kinds of teachers, but they focus on literacy and education. And I know this year it's been especially important because so many kids were not in school due to COVID for months, and they're behind in reading and those kinds of things. So those clubs are really helping the school system kind of get the kids back up to speed at educational levels. And I have another friend that has a satellite club that meets at a hospital, and all the people in the hospital meet that want to belong, and they focus on health and healthcare type things. So I think those cause-based clubs are really becoming popular and have a lot of things that can be learned from.
Okay. Jackie, is there anyone in your district that you haven't talked about yet? The ideas that maybe they aren't established yet, but the ideas?
Sure. There's Jefferson City is looking at trying to target young professionals. And there's a lot of young professional groups, but this would be bringing them in for service. So I think that that's a real potential. There's another opportunity through another city that we don't have Rotary in. So one, it's a community, a lake community where there's a lot of retired people, and a lot of retired people want to provide service. Their life's not over. It's kind of like a new start. So that's another one we're looking at.
Okay. Anyone else got any ideas? Joan.
Well, I could add to that some great ideas, since most of us here are from the state of Missouri. And so we're known for our grapes and the wine that's produced in Missouri. So how fun to have, who wouldn't want to join a satellite group where you can taste wine? I mean, it's an excellent idea.
You're right. District 6080 has the 3 largest wineries in the state of Missouri.
Exactly. I mean, how interesting would that be? And we could attract so many people from just all walks of life to come in and then, have that with service projects or just things that they do. But like-minded people love to get together. So.
Absolutely. I could see a service project going and helping with clipping vines in the springtime or the fall. Exactly. Eric, you had an idea.
So I wish that I had a success story like all the other great leaders on here had about a satellite club. But what I would say is that we shouldn't be afraid to try things, even if it does not end up in the short term being successful. I was involved for a couple of years with trying to start a satellite club in the St. Joseph area, after hours type program. And I think it was a positive experience, even though we weren't ultimately successful in sustaining it. The entrepreneurial spirit that we need to think about new ways to reach members and to encourage our traditional clubs to expand membership into more flexible type arenas, I think is positive. And so I would just say that don't be afraid of failure, and we need to continue constantly looking at ways that we can evolve.
Absolutely. And those satellite clubs only take 8 people to establish one. So, 8 is a start. And it can go into a regular club as soon as they get 20, or they can stay with the club that sponsors them, because there's a lot of ideas that the sponsor club have and benefits that being attached to the sponsor club has. So yeah, so satellite only takes 8 people. Do brainstorming, try to expand our reach. Jackie, last words before the participants come back?
Well, this is not a satellite, but there is a club that's getting ready to start with about 25 people, and it's going to be based in Central Missouri University. in Warrensburg. And so there's a real interest in getting even former Rotarians back into Rotary and then getting a lot of university leaders. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. Okay, back to Janice.
I see you're coming back in. I see they're coming back into the room. All right, great. I hope you guys had some really good discussion. So let's hear some of those ads that you created. If you were chosen as a reporter, please raise your hand in the reaction function, and I will call on you to unmute and share your 3-sentence ads. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Okay, go ahead, Dustin.
Okay, so our group, we really focused on kind of the impact of being in the satellite club. So our ad is real purpose, real impact in real time. Joining Rotary connects you with like-minded, committed members of your community. Your service can change the world.
Awesome. That's good. All right, go ahead, Barbara.
Our group said, like, come and join like-minded professionals and non-professionals engaged in service beyond self, giving back to a community that has given so much to you. And we commented too that join Rotary, we're not just for old folks. So
Awesome. Amanda.
So we didn't really choose a recorder, so I'm volunteering here. We had kind of a wacky idea that we would follow a model that's being used in higher education right now for asynchronous learning, where our satellite club would be asynchronous virtually with the tagline of join us anytime, anywhere.
Okay, innovative. All right. Ryan.
Yes, we came up with join a group of diverse individuals as we serve our community. Be a part of something bigger than yourself. Come for the companionship, stay for the service.
Sounds good. All right, Glenn. Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome.
Yeah, we had a interesting discussion because the first thing is you need to know your community. We were from the city to the rural area where I'm from in Tarkio. Others were in the rural area too. We talked about whether it would be on Saturday, whether it be a happy hour, whether it be with the coffee drinkers in the morning, whether we go to an all virtual club, because we're also used to Zooming now. One of the questions that I think was a good one was this family idea. Have a club where you bring your family and the kids meet in another room and do a craft while we're doing a service project or a meeting. Maybe a plan for you where you can bring your family and serve, a place for you where you can do your family and serve.
Awesome. Sheila?
Yeah, so I guess we didn't really follow directions because we didn't come up with an ad necessarily, but we did talk about the different, each club, like a big club, a satellite club would be a good idea, but maybe a smaller club would just be better to have alternate meeting times, and then how to bring in and where to look for other members. And we had talked about your kids as friends, because the younger generation, they really do. They want to help and pinch in. All you have to do is ask them. And so we more talked about reaching out instead of like an ad. We more talked about reaching out in person and saying, hey, do you know anybody who really likes service, and asking around. So
thank you. But it looks like you guys still generated conversation, and that's a good thing. So I'm going to take some, look in the chat and get some of that was put in the chat. Wendy said, I'm interested in starting a virtual satellite club. Okay. And then also Amanda said, we might want to consider statewide virtual satellite clubs, not necessarily connected to one particular district. Jennifer said, I will be moving over. Okay.
Oh,
got it. Jackie, do you see any other hands?
Well, yeah, I see a Dan.
Yes, yes, I'm here. I was starting to write it in the chat, but
Dan, did you mute yourself? Or you just wanted to put it in the chat? You didn't want
I'm
to.
sorry, I'm unmuted. Sorry
That's
about that.
okay. Go ahead.
Yes, our group talked about finding for the Satellite Club some business professionals. So we kind of geared the ad toward that. And we also debated when was a good time. And we figured if the young professionals are busy during the day and maybe can't make breakfast or lunch, let's look at a Thursday night casual fare. So this is our social media ad that we put together. We are seeking young and old business professionals to join us for a casual Thursday evening networking session. We seek people who are interested in giving back to their communities through service projects, which will lead to additional networking, additional fun, and immediate rewards.
Great. Great. And Janice, we've got Chris.
Okay, unmute yourself. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so we talked about the idea of a family club, and so our ad is we are starting a family Rotary club that will meet on Saturdays at 10 a.m. If your family is interested in helping your community, we would like you to join us. Children are welcome to attend the meetings.
And we do have time for some more raised hands. And I would ask that if you would just put into the chat box which satellite clubs are of interest that you would join what was discussed.
Okay, I see one coming in now. Wendy said, I think we could partner with homeschool parents because they could join programs and learn more about the community as we do. Awesome, Wendy.
Yeah, and there's one here for environmental cause-based. Went a little too quickly. I didn't see the name here.
That was Eric.
Okay. And Rance is saying invite guests with free meals and make them feel welcome.
That's always good. Food and conversation is always good. It generates ideas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Eric mentioned the family club.
I like that.
I like that idea.
Because that's how the families start. Yeah, that's how the service starts. Yeah.
Matt also says family focused. Oh, and Jeff's come up with a partner with the local Chamber of Commerce to connect.
Dan said, if we're looking for networking and service project opportunity, I would look at the Thursday evening casual fare.
Okay, and Rick or Rich Lockhart, if you will, you could just unmute and go ahead and speak. He was having trouble raising his hand.
Oh,
thanks, Jackie. Yeah, I can't find that hand raised.
That's all right.
So we've actually got a satellite club that's due to start first part of May in Warrensburg, and it's going to be university based. We're going to be on the campus of the University of Central Missouri.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're trying to get that younger demographic. It's not going to, it's going to be an optional lunch. So reducing the fees a little bit there. If someone wants to get a lunch, they can go to the one of the venues in the student union. So hopefully we'll be able to get that more diverse and especially younger demographic there. We did not follow the directions and create a 3-sentence ad, and I've been trying to come up with something, but it's still too early in the day for my brain to work. So I thought I'd just share that idea with you.
And Janice, Dan said in the chat, he said, if I were looking for networking and service project, he says, I would be looking for something Thursday evening. And that's interesting because that's one of the evenings we don't have a club right now, but there will be soon. And that'll be in Jeff City.
Janice and Jackie, if you don't mind, you all may be wondering in the chat, gosh, that's a great idea. I'd like to get that, and maybe trying to capture that. You can capture the chat with everything that's in it. If you look at where it says direct message or message to everyone, you can see a little file there. It's the Word file, and beside that on the right-hand side is 3 dots. Go to those three dots and click on it. The first option is Save Chat. If you click on that, it will save it to your computer, and then you have to acknowledge that it's saved to your computer, but watch where it's saved to your computer so you can go retrieve it. A lot of times it's under your Zoom if you have a folder for Zoom. So that's how you can save all these great ideas that are coming through the chat. Thanks, Janet. Back to you.
Thank you, Rita. We had one more come in while Rita was giving us some directions. And Tony said on the opposite end, we have retired members of our lunch club talking about a satellite at their retirement community. Awesome. Is there any other hands? Jackie, can you help me scan to make sure we don't miss anyone?
Yeah, I haven't seen any other hands, but that the retirement community, that just brought to my mind that there's a veterans nursing home, the St. James, that there's a potential there even to start a satellite.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. You guys did an awesome job. You did a great job on your sentences. You did a great job generating conversation and just making sure that everyone was included. So I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing, especially those things that you're putting in the chat, because I'm going to try to capture those. Great ideas, Rotarians, great ads. So let's consider how you can expand your club membership by developing a satellite club. The next step is to do an action step. So we're going to go back to David, and he's going to help us in that area. Back to you, David.
You know, it would help if I actually unmuted myself.
It's okay.
I think that's the catchphrase for 2020 and 21. You're on mute. My apologies.
That and the
please.
dogs barking.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
So I read it great to myself. So now I'll be happy to tell you what I was talking about. We have discussed ways to expand your club's reach by creating partnerships with community groups, by telling your Rotary story, and by becoming a more diverse club. From those three ideas, for this coming year, as you are going to be club president, what I'd like you to do is write in the chat box one way that you plan to expand the reach of your club. So what one way is you as a club president can expand your reach? Tim said partnerships. David, volunteer members. More involvement in Interact. Corporate membership from Ron. Social media. Social events from Nicholas. Courtney said establish a club at our local Job Corps Center. Peggy, working with other clubs. Encouraging members to talk to friends and families from Sheila. More involvement in Interact from Ryan. Scrolling down a little further here. Increasing diversity from Donnie. Jim said social media. Partnering and coordinating with other area clubs from Laurie. Tapping members to recruit and or create specialized satellite clubs from Amanda. Tracy said partnering with other organizations in community on larger service projects. Rosalind said starting a satellite club. More community projects and presence from Debbie. Working with community core and community groups from Brad. These are all wonderful ways that we can expand our reach. And it looks like Rotary will be growing in our 3 districts. I'd like to have some final words from District 6040 Governor-elect host, David McCoy. David?
So following Elizabeth's footsteps in our opening session this morning, I would like to ask you a question. How many times at your meetings have you stood up and made a pledge with liberty and justice for all? Diversity, equity, and inclusion is very important to Rotary. A reminder that Rotary is for all. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everyone should be included in Rotary regardless of any of those classifications that you see in their goal statement. Remember, when you're looking for new memberships, ways to expand your clubs, go outside your traditional norms. Start looking for people that do not look like you to join your clubs. As Rita mentioned a few minutes ago, highly encourage you to save the chat session from today. There was a lot of great, wonderful ideas in there. Again, just click on the 3 little buttons off to the right of the chat box and pick save there. It looks like we will be finishing up just a few minutes early today, so you will get a little bit of an extended break. Our next session will be a preliminary session where we get to hear from the Rotary incoming president, Shekhar Milhada, about what his goals and visions are for the coming year. So I would encourage you to join that session. I had the privilege of hearing him speak earlier this year, and he's got a wonderful message for all of us. Enjoy your few minutes of the break, and we'll see you soon.